Hey guys, Coach Janine at Whole Body Health. Today I want to talk a little bit about sciatica, literally a pain in the butt. If you've ever heard or if you've ever had sciatica before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So there's many different ways to address sciatica. Today I'm going to give you 3 great ways to release some of the musculature in the hips and the glutes, which a lot of times is what is pinching that sciatic nerve and causing some of that pain. It's not always the exact reason, but this is a good way to release some of those muscles to find out if this is where it's coming from or not. A couple ways to give you some almost instant relief. So I've got some toys here to play with. So the first one I'm going to show you is a glute release. So I've got 3 different things. Actually, let's use these 2 here. So I've got a tennis ball and a lacrosse ball. Today I'm going to start with the tennis ball. Okay, it's a little squishier versus a lacrosse ball, which is a little harder. So the tennis ball is going to provide a little less pinpoint pressure, so a little less intense. So for this stretch, I'm going to grab a yoga block. So you can grab a pillow. You just want something that's going to elevate your leg a little bit, something you can rest against. So a pillow about 6 inches tall would be fine. Something to where like your leg is not totally on the ground, but it's not in this position either. So we're going to lay on the ground. I'm going to put that block right underneath that leg. So the tennis ball or lacrosse ball, whichever poison you're going to use today, is going to go right underneath the glute. So I'm going to lay over on top of that glute. I'm going to relax that knee on the block or on the pillow, and I'm just going to push into the glute. Now I can use my other foot here to kind of release some of the pressure on this leg here if I need to, but I want to try to relax into that glute, relax into those hip muscles, those glute muscles, to try to get things to let go of pinching that sciatic nerve. From here, we're just going to find those tender spots. I'm going to kind of roll around a little bit, nice and slow, just kind of searching that whole area. When I find a spot, I'm going to just lay on that spot and hold it. So we've got about 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Nice big deep breaths. You don't want to hold your breath. When you hold your breath, you increase that tension back there, and then things aren't going to release as quick. So try to relax that hip and that leg. Try to relax into it and breathe. Okay, that's the first stretch for you. That is a glute release. The next one is going to be a variation of the pigeon pose. So for this, I'm going to use some mats here. So these are just yoga mats or ab mats stacked on top of each other. So we want to find an elevated surface. So I could elevate this even more and go on the edge of the couch or on a box. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to use this on the ground because if I elevate anymore, you're going to lose my head. So anyways, pigeon pose. You're going to get that leg right across the top of your elevated surface. You don't have to worry too much about the angle of your leg. Okay, if you get it too far up here and you don't have the flexibility, you're going to run into some problems and tension with the knee. So just let it go wherever it needs to go. This back foot's going to be tucked under. You want to be up on top of that hip. Okay, you don't want to be way back here so you have some weird angle. Get right over the top of it and then just relax over the top of that leg. Okay, again, 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Breathing in and out, nice deep breaths, relax over the top of that leg. Okay, and then you'll switch and do the other side. That is a inclined or elevated pigeon pose. Okay, and then the last one we're going to use, this is my favorite one because it makes the biggest change in the way my hips and my low back feel. So we're going to address the QL, which these muscles right in here. Okay, so right over the top of the pelvis, they're kind of in a triangle, kind of a fan shape pattern or shape on your back. So I'm going to take this ball here. This is my double peanut. It is my ultimate favorite ball. If you do not have one of these, I highly suggest either buying one like this that's already put together, or you can take 2 lacrosse balls, you can tape them up, you can also put them in a sock so it keeps them together and tidy into the sock. Either way, this is a great tool to use. Okay, for this, I'm going to put it right on my lower back. Okay, I'll start just above those hip bones. We don't want to be on the bony structures. The way this ball is configured here, you've got this groove right in the middle. So that's where my spine is going to sit. So it's not going to actually be on my spine, which would be super uncomfortable. So I'm going to take this ball, I'm going to lay back across the ball, position it, I'm gonna bring my heels up towards my butt. That way I can relieve some of the tension or the pressure on those balls by pushing through my heels on the floor. And then from there, I'm just gonna roll the ball up. I don't have to go very far until I find a nice tight area, tender spot, and then I'm gonna hang out here. Again, using my breath to relax into the ball. From there, if it's too intense, like I said, you can push into the heels to kind of elevate the butt a little bit, release some of the pressure back here, and then same thing, just big deep breaths. Okay, 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You want to work all the way from that bottom of the lower back, right above those hip bones here, so top of the hip bones, up to about the bottom of the rib cage. You don't want to go into the rib cage area. Again, that would be super uncomfortable to hit the bottom ribs there with the lacrosse ball. Okay, those are 3 great ways to start releasing that sciatic nerve and the compression that a lot of times has on that nerve to cause the pain that goes down your leg and into your butt. Enjoy!